Hey friends, it's Renee Bradshaw. I'm going to be doing a client spirit guide reading today. It's a 10 card reading. It's a pretty cool one because this is a customer I've had before. I did a past life reading on her. She popped online over the weekend, just was kind of bored and saw I was doing my 11/11 sale on November 11th, and she said she's been seeing 11/11 and is it 12/12 or 2/2? But she's been seeing these numbers pop up. 11/11, 2/2, 22/11. Yep, so the 2s and the 1s. She's been seeing those pop up in her life a lot, and she's wondering, is that her spirit guide talking to her? Well, I feel like it is. If you don't know what 11/11 is, I would go ahead and Google that. But basically, it's just messages from your spirit guides. Some people say it's angelic messages. I actually just heard of the phrase a couple months ago from another online tarot reader, the Cackling Moon, and that day I heard about it from her. Like, I started seeing it pop up everywhere, and I've been paying attention since. So let's see what's going on for our friend here with those numbers and with her spirit guides. I'll fast forward while I shuffle, and I'll catch up with you guys in a few seconds for you, but like 5 minutes for me. Okay, so I've shuffled. I double checked your birthday because I was pretty sure you were an Aquarius, but I did just want to double check that. So for Aquarius, we'll be watching for a few things. The Star card, and Swords cards. I like to kind of watch for those and make little connections. But we're gonna start with your spirit guide's personality. Oh, look at that! Okay, so the Star card was the card we are looking for, which is standing for the sign of Aquarius. So that's pretty exciting to get that right off the bat. Your spirit guide, I feel like this is her saying she has a lot in common with you. She's a positive, upbeat, calm, well-rounded person. Maybe you listen to me and you say, hey, I don't have all those qualities, but I bet you do have a lot of those qualities. And if they aren't so prevalent, I bet they're things that are emerging, because your spirit guide is directly sending a message with this card right here. So I feel like this has a lot to do probably with nighttime. I mean, obviously you see the stars at night, but I really feel like the imagery in this card, we're seeing a lot of connection with her being most active at night in your life. I feel like she's probably all around you throughout the day as well, but at night I would feel like she would send you messages like in your dreams, or while you're laying there drifting off to sleep, or possibly first thing in the morning, something that pops on your mind. But I feel like a lot of those would be her. When you're seeing the 2 a.m., so 2:22 in the morning, if you're awake and you see the clock say that time, I feel like that's definitely her. That's probably her during the daytime too, but I really get a strong feeling that she is most active at night. With the spirit guide and past life readings, I kind of like to just let the information kind of flow in as it comes, because I feel like a lot of times your spirit guides are here directly in the room with me when I'm doing these, versus regular readings. I feel like it's my spirit guides communicating with your spirit guides, but I really feel like your guides are all up in this pile of cards today. That is a really good sign right off the bat. So she's just a really happy, well-rounded, spiritual being. I feel like she's this guide that we're here with. I feel like, since this is a card about spiritual awakenings and spiritual connections, this is probably something that you are either experiencing right now, with you noticing the numbers over the past few years. I'd say it's been starting over the past few years, but the fact that you really felt pulled to just randomly go on Etsy the other night and saw this sale, it was the 11/11 sale. You mentioned that, and now we're seeing the star card. I just really feel like that means your spiritual awakening is coming, if it's not already here, but everything is just kind of going to start happening at a fast pace for you. Let me see what the next meaning is. How she is currently helping you in your life. So here we have the Six of Swords, and we can see this witch kind of taking off into the night. So I feel, again, this connection with the nighttime. I feel like you're fleeing some old ways of thinking. You're fleeing maybe an old religion, or maybe not even a religion, an old relationship, something that was really a big part of who you were, but you did not feel like it was correct for your life. You finally have gotten the courage to kind of flee that and run off into the night. That is her helping you. She's the night you're running off into. These other two here, I feel like they're probably other spirit guides. We do have more than one spirit guide in my belief. So I feel like this is the one we're talking to today, but she's also telling you, she's pulling you into the night, but you have other guides that are helping you do other things, and that's totally common for us to have multiple guides. So the fact that we're seeing swords here, I feel like that's it took you a long time to make this decision, to kind of leave this other, whatever it is that you're leaving behind, because you were thinking very logically about it, what is it? I'm feeling like you were worried. So leaving now is a logical decision. Before, you had worry on your heart. Like you were afraid if you made this decision, you would lose friends, or lose other close connections, possibly, reputation, whatever this was that was holding you back. I feel like a lot of that was the heart pulling on you, confusion and darkness, and the swords mean that you finally have been able to make a very logical decision and move forward, away from whatever it was that was kind of pinning you to the ground, that you felt like no longer serves you. You're letting it go on the wind, you're saying goodbye, and you're running off towards your spirit guide. So that is totally her helping you right now. She's giving you that strength and that courage and that awakening inside in order for you to leave a lot of what was holding you down. The next card is, how can you help yourself as they help you? We have this, which actually was reversed. I flipped it. So we have the Four of Pentacles here, and right side up we see someone holding on to money, to treasure, to their emotions. They're safeguarding something. They're keeping it from the rest of the world, and that's what's going on in this card. And so she's afraid. No, your spirit guide is not afraid. She's concerned for you. She's feeling like you were holding on to something before and you were having a hard time letting it go. I see that you're on that path. You're definitely doing that, but there's probably some baggage, some very could be literal baggage. I feel like it's emotional or spiritual baggage. It's kind of holding you back and holding you down, and she wants you to release that. If you release some of these old feelings and concerns, and if you do that, you'll find that your life becomes a lot more blessed, that your spiritual path kind of unfolds a lot easier for you, that everything just moves a lot more smoothly. So that is definitely what I'm seeing here, is just releasing that which no longer serves you, and just letting yourself take part in what does, accepting that you are deserving of everything she's giving you. So the next card is, how can you recognize when they are talking to you? And we have this card all about balance. So I feel like this card definitely represents this witch balancing right here in a teeter-totter. I see this a lot for people that are either going through a transition or are trying to effectively manage several parts of their life, creating a new part of their life without letting go of some other parts of their life. And that we don't always have to let go of everything, you know, like just because you start skiing doesn't mean you have to stop horseback riding, you know? So this card here shows that your spirit guide is talking to you when you kind of feel like you have everything balanced, and then you've got something that's kind of leaping onto the teeter-totter here, throwing you out of balance, losing your place. And then from that point, your guide is trying to think of the right word. I'm a writer for a living. You wouldn't realize that because I can never think of the right words. But she's the thing that picks you up, basically, after this happens. This card here, we see the balance. This is part of her personality, as is this. Things are going to come along right when we get everything perfectly balanced and feel like life is exactly how we want it to be. Something's going to come and just knock us right off of our pedestal. I feel like sometimes she might actually be the thing that knocks you off your pedestal because she's seeing you balance things ineffectively or forgetting to balance, but rather allowing yourself to completely fall down one rabbit hole instead of spreading out your gifts, your knowledge, your resources over a variety of things. You're holding on to just one thing and only doing that, kind of like you pick up skiing, so you stop horseback riding completely. So she kind of comes, I feel like she comes and throws you out of whack. And reminds you, hey, you still have these other things you like to do. Don't just focus on this, kind of do a little bit of everything. You have, don't give everything 150% to your work because you're taking 50% of what you would give to your family. So she throws you off balance, and then I feel like she picks you back up and sets you right again. And then reminds you, I'm here to kind of knock things out of order for you. But I really feel like since she is a card about a spirit about balance, and there's a balance theme here, I definitely feel like that is just her overall, how she's talking to you here. Knocking you on your ass and then picking you back up again. Because I'm also getting that, that when she knocks you off your butt like that, I think it's because she feels like you're neglecting your spiritual side. Like maybe you're putting everything into work and play. And a lot of times I feel like play can reflect our spiritual side. Like if you knit, it can be a very mindful meditation, but some things, going out to the bar and drinking all night, not that there's anything wrong with having fun like that, but if you're doing that a lot, you're neglecting your spiritual side. And I feel like that's a lot of when she's going to kind of knock you off balance and remind you that she's there. And now that you know she's there and that's what's happening with that balance getting knocked off, when she does that to you, I feel like now that you'll be able to pick yourself up and get things back in order and organize whatever you've got going on better, because you'll know there's a reason. It's not because the universe is out to get you. It's because your guide thinks you need to focus on your inner self, your inner strength, and taking care of your any inner spiritual or emotional journey that you're going on. I think she wants you to put that first, which is funny. I'm getting that with it being a Pentacles card, because that is a lot of times a financial thing, but just with the way that we're seeing this story kind of unfold from her today, I don't see it as a financial thing. I do just see it as a spiritual pulling. Card 5. Card 5 is what you should work on during this lifetime. We have the Devil card, which is woo. No, just kidding. This is sorry. This card here is just about temptation. And again, I'm seeing a balance theme come out here today, and just temptations to kind of sink into like my example about going out to the bar and drinking all night. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone deserves to let loose and have fun. But if you're doing that every single night, you're definitely neglecting other things. You know, if you're staying in all the time, in reverse, if you're staying in all the time and you don't want to be around people and you don't want to go to your friend's party because you don't want to deal with people, you know, that too is temptation. It's temptation to take the easy way out. So I think what you need to work on during this lifetime is probably find some of the I feel like this is about finding some of the places where you feel that you are lacking. And by lacking, I mean things you would like to do or like to be able to do that are realistically a goal. And by that I mean, you know, not that you want to win $8 million tomorrow with the lottery, though if you can manifest that, by all means, go ahead. But by what I mean by that is more like letting go of the things that are holding you down and finding what's going to bring you up. I'm getting I just got like a pull from my forehead. It was strange. There's a block inside you, and I know when we did your past life reading that you had some social issues, and I feel like this might even be about taking the easy way out from social issues. I don't want you to put yourself in situations where you feel highly uncomfortable, and that is definitely the feeling I'm getting from your spirit guide is, you know, you don't need to go out tomorrow, rent a gymnasium and talk to 100 people about something. But I'm feeling that perhaps slowly increasing what makes you uncomfortable. Like if you can talk to 2 people at once without a problem, you know, 2 of your closest friends, then you get 3 in the room, and then all of a sudden you're super nervous. And I'm not saying this is what, you know, exactly is going on, but just an example. If that's what's going on, I feel like you got the 2 down, okay, add the 3rd in, do the 3rd over and over again. And then when the 3rd becomes easy, talk to 4 people at once, you know, and just slowly progress like that. I'm coming from a place where I understand, where that's probably some of my example. I'm feeling like a personal connection to you and this card right now. It's almost like I can feel my 2 guides talking to me, and it's like an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other kind of thing. Except for they're both saying really good things, so it's not really like that. So, but I just feel like this card is all about not taking the easy way out. So that is definitely something that your spirit guide wants you to work on, is not overbalancing, overworking yourself and putting yourself in a situation that makes you completely uncomfortable, but to increase your uncomfort zone little by little at a time until you kind of have worked on things that you avoid. Other things that you avoid, since I'm feeling also the spiritual story unfolding here, again, don't put yourself in a bad position with your spirituality and sharing that with people. But if it is something that you feel like you can share with someone, don't be embarrassed. Don't think that they're going to make fun of you unless you have a good reason to think they're going to do that. Because a lot of times I feel like there's this opening here right now around you just like this big light just kind of going around the cards here. And it's all about, don't be afraid. She'll help you find the balance. And if there's not a logical reason, and it's hard when you have anxiety to find the difference between logical and illogical, I know. But if there's not an extremely logical reason for you to fear being more public with perhaps your spirituality or your personal growth, your higher self, what you're learning about your spirit guide, then don't avoid sharing that, because sometimes you're going to be very pleasantly surprised. So that was a lot to get from this traditionally, or not traditionally, but bad reputation card here, and a lot of good input from the Devil card and the Star card together. I need to take a sip of my tea, excuse me. So next we're going to go to the 6th card. What are your gifts? And your gifts are giving. Whoops, I just kicked my camera. Guess everything's still okay. So I'm getting giving, but I'm also getting from this card very childlike enthusiasm, naivety in a good way, believing, giving others the benefit of a doubt. So I see all these things right here in this card with the some of the traditional meanings in the back of my mind, but those are the ones that are coming to the front. I'm also seeing a reconnection in the form of your spirituality, that your gift hides within your ancestry. I'm not sure of your background, but I would perhaps research your heritage, research the spirituality for the cultures that you come from, or speak to your parents or grandparents. If you've got a kooky aunt, maybe talk to her. But I feel like there's some kind of connection going backwards, and that's the childlike connection, just the ancestry, heritage, connection to youth, and I feel like that is all going back somewhere in your heritage about your spirituality. So since I don't know your cultural background or your heritage, I'm not going to and I'm not getting a specific feel as to what that would be, where your gifts are in your heritage, except for that's where you need to search. I'm not going to make any examples or guesses, because I don't want to overstep, but I really feel like that's what this is telling me. So I'm looking down here and I'm noticing and I've had these come up in another spiritual reading recently, and the lily pads, the lily flowers here, or the water lilies on the lily pads, they are a symbol of spiritual rebirth, and often over the lifetime. So I feel like that too is connecting backwards to your heritage, as far as your gifts. Like you probably have some spiritual, strong spiritual gifts, and those are definitely back in the in your heritage. I am going to pull another card on this one when we get to the end, because on this whole card, to see if we can get just a little bit more of a clue here. But that is definitely what I'm getting, is a heritage feel, rebirth, because these dry up at the end of every season and then rebloom, and I think they only rebloom for some really short amount of time, actually. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like that's what water lilies do, and then they dry up but they come back. So I feel like that is a reincarnation over and over again, somewhere back that's talking about your gifts. So we do have the giving, the being kind, and the childlike belief in other people, but I am curious about what the heritage is there. But I do want to finish just because I feel like the cards here are in the order we need them in. They were shuffled for the guide with what I had intended for her to show us. So I want to go through these first, then we'll shuffle again and pull a card for this. So what is your connection with your spirit guide while you are in the spiritual realm? Oh, and we have the Four of Swords. So I feel like yours, when you are with your spirit guide in the spiritual realm, you feel like you can rest. You feel like you are, this card kind of reminds me of when I was in my 20s and I would go to my mom's house and I would just go plop on her couch and fall asleep immediately. And that is the exact feeling I'm getting for this card, is when you are around your spirit guide in the spiritual realm, you just feel like you can sleep. You are at peace. You know she's going to take care of you. She'll tell you what she wants to tell you with an open and loving heart, and she's not going to expect much of you when you're on the spiritual realm, because she feels like you are working hard to get through what she has been trying to help you get through. She knows you're going through past life, getting help, working on your anxiety and your past lives and some of the fears, and then your regular earthly work that is just so exhausting for everybody, you know, family life, work life, school life, you know, everyone. We're just all so exhausted while we're also working on all these higher self issues. And so I feel like this is absolutely beautiful that this card comes up, that when you are with her, you just feel relaxed and at peace. You know that everything is eventually going to turn out okay. You know that she's taking care of you. Oh, and then we have, of course, we have the night sky here because she's sleeping, but I just feel like that again is a beautiful connection to these two cards here, you know, with her in the night, with you running in the night, running towards the night, and then resting in the night. So I just feel like that all together right there is a beautiful little story from her of how the two of you are together. You're pulled to her, and then you feel well rested when you're with her. And I mean, so I'm feeling right now, as I just set the card down, I'm feeling it's almost like this water that she's standing in, it's almost like the ocean to me all of a sudden. And this, I mean, it's like she is a giant. She's just filled with so much energy. And I feel like when you're with her, she can literally just hold you in her hand and cup your body and love you and let you rest and let you recharge when you were with her. So then the next card is going to be, what do you need to be aware of right now? And we have the moon, which in this reading is definitely speaking to the spiritual side. You're in a very spiritual, open phase of your life right now. There is something that is going on right now that's like a clicking inside of your soul, that's like putting things in motion, putting things in place. You know, you are awakening up to your shadow self right now. I feel so this is a great time, like if you want to learn any kind of spell work, psychic divination. I feel like this is a great time for you to start working with spiritual works like these. Like if you want to pick up a deck of cards and start working with them, I feel like this is a great time. Your mind would really be open to learning some of these, or with an oracle deck or a pendulum, runes, you know, whatever your heart is being pulled to. And then I go back here. I'm thinking now that these words are flowing to me. This is a great time, definitely, if your heritage, you know, if your great grandmother was from Norway and they, you know, I believe they use runes a lot in Norway, you know, or Vikings. If you descended from Vikings, you know, something like that, we have runes. And so I feel like that would be a great piece of equipment to pick up right now, or a tool to pick up right now, to start learning. I also feel like it's a time where if you pick up books, spiritual books that are interesting to you in your path. I feel like this is a time that a lot of things are going to be clicking inside for you. A lot of things will be making sense, and where you'll be able to put aside the things that don't make sense. I just feel like your mind is really open right now to a lot of things making sense. This card also means it's a great time in your life to get like psychic readings or healing work done. And so right here with this psychic reading, I really feel like that is why we're seeing your card so readily here. Right here, your spirit guide, the Aquarius symbol right here at the very beginning of the reading, is because this is just a time where the two of your connection is so strong. Everything is just coming together so well, and that is definitely, this whole reading is just flowing so well. It's just because it's your energy, it's your spirit guide. Everything is open right now, and it's like your energy is coming this way. You're pulling on the cards for me. It's both, it's all of us working together. And so I really feel like that is just, it's your time right now to kind of pick a path or be open to learning lots of different paths and finding what works for you and what doesn't work for you. This is also a time, if you do meditation, it's great to do meditations. If you do manifesting, it's a great time to do manifesting too. So, the next card is any advice for your spiritual path, and I feel like she's been doling out quite a bit, so I feel like we will probably get some. So this card suggests that you're trying to place a lot of things into logical and rational boxes, and that is not always the best thing to do. We have to think with our hearts too, and so this is definitely something that she wants you to work on. I feel like this is something you're already accomplishing, not only because, we've done a few readings together now, but also just to get that feel, that openness from you. So I feel like that is just her reminder. Like if you are working on something and then you say, oh, that doesn't make sense, but it does, like it's working for other people, but you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. I can't really manifest my dream house. I can't really do this or that. That doesn't make sense. I think this card is indicating to you that you have to find a way you can believe with your heart, or find a way that you can take that, chart it out and make it make sense. But so this card's fairly positive. I don't feel like it's something she's overly concerned about. It's just a reminder from her. I think it's just to keep an open mind, keep an open heart. Don't be too rational, but do make things that you want to do make sense to you. Do keep what makes sense to you, and then take things that you want to do, and pick them apart until you figure out how they work. Compare them to other things. I'm getting this, the numbers. When you are wanting to further something in your spiritual journey, but it's not making sense to you, or you don't believe it can happen. Either you believe other people are making it up when it happens, or you believe it works for other people, but it won't work for you. The numbers will be around then as signs. And I feel like pay attention to what you're thinking about or worrying about when the numbers come up, because those times they are telling you this is possible. You can do it. I am your spirit guide, full of magic and balance and love for you, and I will help you do it. And the final card is any final thoughts. So we have the Nine of Cups, and with this deck we see the witch meditating in front of her beautifully created sandcastle, covered in cups of water. She has a crab and a cat fighting very close by. that could possibly knock this down at any moment, and the wave could raise up and knock the whole castle over, ruining everything she's worked for. But she's meditating, she's feeling calm and peaceful. So I feel like this card from your guide is telling you, it's telling you, don't be afraid to go for what you want. Create the life you want. Take everything you want. Don't worry about, if I do this, I might lose it. If I take this job, I might lose it. I might lose this. If I manifest this, it might not really happen, so I'm wasting my time. Stop worrying about the possible negative outcomes. Enjoy the gifts that you have while you have them. There's no use to worrying about something before it happens. You have to just enjoy the moment, enjoy what gifts are coming for you. And you know what? This tide might be in all the way, and the cat and the crab might go running the other way, and the castle would be fine. But if the witch was so concerned about that, and she was struggling and trying to move the castle back from the water or push the animals away, she's going to be fighting the whole time. She's not going to be enjoying what she has. So it's very much just enjoy your life, enjoy your gifts as they come. Don't worry about what you're going to lose tomorrow, if something will go away. Just enjoy everything you have. So I wanted to pull a card on the heritage and see if it could give us any kind of indication as to, if not an exact gift, but the realm of what that gift might be. And we got the Hanged Man, which really doesn't tell us much about the gift, but it does tell us something else. This card spiritually is about knowing that you have to make sacrifices to move forward. It's also about spending time in reflecting and diving deeper. So I think right there, that is your guide telling me, stay out of it. And that it is your responsibility to research your heritage, possibly if you have any families that family members in the past or the present that have a strong spiritual connection or gifts. It's to talk to them and interview them, and I feel like that is a something that I am supposed to stay out of and let you explore and journey on your own and find out what it is that pulls you in, because this is definitely a butt out Renee card. Let her do it at her own pace. So I'm going to leave you with that, but I really enjoyed this reading. I'm seeing here 1, 2, 3 major arcanas in the reading and an extra one on the additional information we pulled. So I feel like this is a pretty important guide to your soul. I also feel like you guys have been together for a while, especially you have this comfort here. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. I enjoyed getting to know your guide. I could kind of feel them tapping me on the forehead every once in a while. It took me a little bit to figure out what kind of like that little bit of pain was, and I think that was them trying to steer me when they would hear me say something they liked. But I really enjoyed that, and I hope you did too. And if you're watching this and you'd like a reading of your very own, you can go to my shop on Etsy, Witchy Renee Bradshaw, all one word. The word's probably down here somewhere. But I hope you guys have a really blessed day. Bye.